Hi, this is Michael Waits, and welcome back to India Game Changer. We are joined today by Pranav Dangi, the founder and CEO of The Hosteler. Pranav, thank you so much for coming to the show. Before we start, let's give our audience a little bit of your background, just for some context, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, first of all, Michael, for inviting me to the India Game Changer podcast. It's a pleasure. I'm Pranav. I come from a small town in Rajasthan called Mount Abu. It's the only hill station in Rajasthan. I have been educated in Mount Abu for the early part of my education, and then I moved on to do engineering and MBA, the typical combination in India, and have worked with corporates like Philips, EY for almost 4 years of my early professional career, and then moved on to pursue my entrepreneurial journey with the Hosteler. Hosteler came through my personal passion and love for travel. I happened to take a Euro trip back in 2013, a solo backpacking trip for almost 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And that made me realize what a beautiful sector this is, and wanted to pursue my professional life into this. And that's how I started the Hosteler.
So you said you went to Europe for a trip, yeah?
Absolutely, yes.
So Europe is super interesting, the different countries and stuff like that. But India itself is just so vast. One of the things that people tell me all the time when I do the show is that like you could literally go 100 miles in one direction and 100 miles in another direction and not just get like different food, but get a different language. And in some ways, get kind of a different culture. I'm curious if like before you started the hostel, there was already existing hostels across the country, but maybe they just didn't live up to your, what's the right word, like quality specs, right? In other words, you came home and you were like, okay, that was a great experience. I want to be able to replicate that here in a way that's better. No?
Absolutely. So you are absolutely right, Michael. India is a huge country. It has all the possible landscapes that can be there. It has rivers, a huge coastline, mountains, jungles. It has culture, heritage. Food is so famous, and it all changes every 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
Uh, I come from Rajasthan, and there are at least 15 languages, different languages that are spoken just in Rajasthan. That's one state in the country. So we early on understood the potential of the country. We, in fact, when I came back from Europe, that bug of travel caught on to me, and I started traveling length and breadth of the country, and started going out and exploring what hostels, what other infrastructure is there where the backpackers are staying. And to my surprise, back in 2013, the entire environment was so fresh and young that hardly any hostels existed. All
Really?
that existed was youth hostels by YHI YMCA, which is a not-for-profit or global organization. But the way that they were doing things was quite, I would say, bland. Uh, uh, and very traditional. And that is what we tried to do. We identified that gap and we tried to change the cover. So we wrapped the entire sector with a nice cover on top of it, providing, I would say, better amenities, better offering, better services. And that's what got us started. And now I think India is on a very mature level with respect to hostels.
So this may surprise you, but back in 2018 and 2019, I was traveling to Singapore for business a lot, and I was not staying at hotels.
Oh, you were staying at hostels?
I was. It surprised me too. And I partially did it because I wanted to understand actually what was going on. I mean, I didn't have enough money when I graduated from college to do a trip to Europe. It just wasn't possible. I started working at Morgan Stanley right away. And, you know, I never had like 6 months off or 8 months off where I could go do that. And I was always kind of jealous about it. But one of the things that I found was that, you know, first of all, you're sharing a room. In some places, I was sharing a room with other people. In some places, it was a really cool experience. We were like in this big room where you had your own private bed and it had like a curtain on it. It was super cool. But I thought the best thing about the hostel which is way different than a hotel, and you tell me where you think I'm wrong, is like the main meeting area. Like I felt like it was super social, and that was on purpose. Like I really felt when I was there that I was part of something, and I wanted to go back. Like I was excited to go back to Singapore for business, and I was like, I got to stay in the same place because some of the same people could be there.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And then how do you build that though?
Okay, so yes, you are right. It is deliberate. Okay, we deliberately make common spaces which are melting points for people to come together, do a lot of activities, talk to each other, network, and eventually share stories, become friends. I still remember one event that we did at our hostel, which was when there were people from 28 different nationalities under the same roof, and
Yeah.
we sort of kept an event which was potluck, where we gave open access to our kitchen to our travelers, and we asked each one of them to prepare one dish, one curry from their own nationality, and bring it all together to share it with other people who were staying with them. And believe me, it was such an event where people from different nationalities came together, and you don't see that often in a hotel, or
No,
or in
almost
a
never.
or in a or in a bed and breakfast or a guest house. It only happens in a hostel. So yes, hostels are those places where people come together. These are social places, community living places where even if you are strangers, after that stay, you are no more strangers.
Right. So, and again, tell me where you think I'm wrong here. But like, if I'm in a hotel, yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm in the hotel bar or I'm in the hotel restaurant, and I walk over to somebody to talk to them, they're going to think I'm strange. Like
yeah,
they're almost going to think I'm creepy.
yeah.
But if I'm in a hostel and I'm just sitting at a table with somebody making myself like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or whatever, and I just start talking to the guy or the gal next to me, they would think it was weird if I didn't say something. Like that
Absolutely.
would make you creepy. But how does that environment facilitate that? Do you know what I mean? Like, why does that work so well?
Sure. So, okay, right from the check-in, we have a human resource at each of our hostel who is called a community volunteer or a community
Okay.
manager. His or her job is to get people together, ask them relevant questions, where they're from, why have they come to a particular destination, how we as hostels can make their entire travel more fulfilling than what they had planned, and we enable such things with each one of our occupant who's staying at a particular date with us, and that is what gets people together. We have a very smart hook that we have kept during the entire stay journey of a traveler, which is right after check-in. We get all the people together and we do a free walking tour. Okay, it's absolutely at zero cost, where people come together, and we give them a flavor of the neighborhood, or wherever that particular hostel is located. This particular activity enables all the people to come together, know each other, break the ice between them, and then eventually they all get along very well. So this is something that we do, and this has enabled a lot of people to come together.
It's so great. So when you came back from your trip to Europe, right, you looked around and you were like, okay, there are hostels around here, but they're just kind of bland, right? So did you start building your own places or renovating existing locations? Like, how did that work?
Okay, so our model is that we lease properties for longer periods, meaning we rent the properties for longer periods. We don't build properties, or we have not yet built properties from scratch, which we have bought and built. However, we have just started that practice. We have bought two land parcels now, where we are building a super cool hostel, probably one of the best in the world. But essentially, primarily the model is company leased, company operated. We believe that hospitality has to be operated and not be franchised. That gives you the
Yeah.
quality control. That gives you a lot of room to play, and which is not possible in a franchisee model. So yes, the model is that we take a existing property, uh, we renovate it as per our standards and guidelines, and then we operate it for the entire period of the lease.
And you rebranded as well. So if I go to one in one town and one in another town, it's the same branding, the same colors, the same facilities, the same
Absolutely.
thing.
So 95% of our product is standardized. 5% is customized to the local culture and look and feel of the area. So it gives you that different flavor at the same time, but gives you that same confidence that even if you are going to, let's say, Delhi or a Goa or a Manali, for example, you will find the same bed quality, sleeping quality, linen, same sort of communication happening, same processes and everything.
Well, now I know where I'm staying when I go to Goa.
Absolutely.
You've just made my life so much easier. I've been wanting to go to Goa for like the longest time. I actually have friends that live there, so now at least I know where I'm going to stay. So in the kind of 10 years that you've been doing this, do you think the perception of, what's the right thing to say, budget travel and backpacking in India has changed simply because you guys exist?
Absolutely, we are
Tell
the
me.
category creators. Believe me, trust me. In the initial few years, it was so tough to tell people, to convince people rather, that why is staying in a backpacker hostel much better than staying in a hotel. The first few years went into educating the Indian younger population. They were not aware of it. If you ask me, out of 100, only 5 knew what a backpacker hostel were. Today,
Okay.
99 people know out of 100 what a backpacker hostel is. So that's the difference that we brought in the entire mindset of traveling community. And if I have to tell you through my real life instances, I have heard from so many people that who have stayed in hostels now have told me that we would never go back to a hotel until and unless we are traveling with a family, with a family,
Right,
or
right, right.
anyone for that matter. Yes.
It's so funny that you say that, because I was just thinking the same thing. Look, I used to work at Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. Yeah. So when I would travel, they would put us up in just some ridiculously fancy hotels for no reason.
Yeah.
And when I think about the experience that I had there, it was really lonely in a way and like kind of unfriendly, right? You had to kind of block your eyes. I've already said this before, but like when I went to the hostels in Singapore, it was like so much fun,
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It
right?
is. Absolutely. I mean, I don't remember through my own stays in hotel that I have even made one friend or one
Yeah, zero.
uh, one
Can't do it.
uh, uh, known face that I remember from my hotel stays. But I remember, and I'm still friends with so many people from my European hostels, as well as my experience with Indian hostels and my own hostels. So hostels are definitely those places where it's all about not staying in the room, whereas
Yeah.
hotels are all about staying in your own room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great point. Yeah. Because all I had at this one, and this hostel was really nice actually, was like a bed, and I was always slept on top, and a curtain that just closed if I wanted to go to sleep. I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that it was uncomfortable. It was super comfortable. It was really nice. The shower rooms were nice and stuff like that. But I wanted to be downstairs and just
Yeah.
like chatting with people and seeing what they were doing and finding out what they were working on. It was a much better experience.
I'll give you a real life example from
Tell me.
yesterday. We all
Okay.
friends. Now, most of us are married. A few have kids. We are planning for a trip to Italy in September. We were
Good for you.
discussing yesterday, and we made it a point that out of the 10 days that we are traveling to Italy, 2 to 3 days would be in hostels, because that's the fun. That's where the fun is, and
Yeah.
that's what we want to do. So yes, it is for everyone, not just for younger generation. Anyone who wants to experience that community, that and want to have a fulfilling experience of a particular place, I think hostels are a no-brainer.
Oh my God. I mean, I was easily the oldest person in the hostel, but everybody in there was so nice. I could have been everybody's father. Tell me, tell me this, because now you've been at this for a while. What kind of stuff have you learned from when you first built the earliest stuff to today? Like, how is it different? What are some of the things you've learned in the past 10 years?
So many learnings. First hostel, I still remember, was a 5 room hostel. If you ask me today that do I want to pick up a 5 room hostels, I would say no. So scalability. within a particular hostel. So for us, I would say for Europe, the sweet spot lies somewhere from 100 to 200 rooms per hostel. In India,
Rooms or beds, you mean?
rooms, I would say good branded hostels in Europe, for example, Generator, ANO, all of these hostels are big hostels, and that's where the scale comes. In India, we have reached a sweet spot of around 50 to 60 rooms, which
Okay.
is almost 150 beds for us. So we want to do, or we have learned over a period of time, it is better to do a 150 bed hostel than doing a 20 bed hostel. That
Yeah, for sure.
that brings efficiency, economies of scale, and all of those things. The other learning that we have had, so we built the first 7 8 hostels, and we thought let's franchise this, let's franchise the brand, and we did, and we
You did.
learned, and
Tell me.
we learned the hard way that franchisee was not the right model.
Yeah.
So that was another learning that we had. The third very big learning is investing in people at the same time that you are investing in building a hostel.
Yeah.
It is absolutely necessary. A lot of people don't realize it early on. Those who are operating maybe 3, 4, 5 hostels, but the path gets tougher as you progress from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 50 and 100 hostels. That investing in human resources, human capital is probably the most underrated thing, but it rewards you at the end of the day. So I think, yeah, a lot of learnings. I can go on for the entire day to tell you what all we have learned. Yeah,
Do you think that, and again, you said this before, like it's not just for younger people, right? So everybody can do this. And I actually encourage everybody to try because it's just an incredible experience.
yeah,
How do you feel like you're creating like a new travel culture, right? Because again, staying at a hotel is very different than staying at a hostel, but there is this kind of cultural event around being there.
yeah.
Do you feel like you're creating a different kind of travel culture in India now?
Absolutely, Michael. See, this culture had to come to India. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but our parents. So there is a concept of dharamshala in India. Okay,
What is that?
so dharamshalas are hostels in religious places. Okay, whenever we
Ah,
go for a religious tourism, we sort of used to stay in a dharamshala before. Okay, a lot of people
got
in
it.
India, when they go to religious places, they make use of such places. Now, India has been a very social country from the day go. We love hospitality. We love hosting people. We love making them aware about the culture, the food, and our history. So hostels have been, whether the word was used like this or not, but hostels are inherently a part of Indian culture, and we believe the way that we have sort of standardized it, modernized it, it is for everyone. It is for foreign nationals visiting India. It is for domestic people who are traveling to different places in India. It is for older people who are looking for, I would say, a better experience of a place than staying in a hotel, and a lot of other for all the other reasons. Recently, I would say after pandemic, we have started observing one more trend, which is people are traveling for no reason. So a no reason travel is also happening, where let's say I'm in Bombay, I have a weekend off, and I don't have anything to do in Bombay because Bombay, I've done pretty much everything in Bombay, and I have a hostel nearby, let's say 100 kilometers from Bombay. I will definitely want to go to the hostel, meet people, do a few things, and come back to join office on Monday. So this is a no reason travel. I had absolutely no reason. It's just that I wanted to have a change of scenery, a change of my local environment, and move away from that.
That's amazing. Yeah, this
Yeah,
no reason travel, I think, is actually kind of cool.
yeah.
How do you, how many properties do you have now, approximately?
So we have 65 properties today.
Oh my God. So how do you, and I kind of agree with you. Look, I've never tried to run a franchise, but I kind of believe like you want to be in complete control yourself. And I know you can create a whole bunch of rules around franchising and stuff, but at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? Like you want to be the cook. You
Yes,
want to be the person in charge. I
absolutely.
think you've learned that the hard way, as you said. But how do you make sure, again, in a country that's as vast as India, you have 60 something properties, that when I go from one, like you said, in Delhi to the one in Goa, that the quality is going to be the same? You talked about investing in people, right? But it's so hard, particularly at that scale. I mean, you must have, if it's 60, you have to have at least 300 people or more working, no?
So we have 1,000 people working now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I was just guessing like how many at each property, but
Yes.
yeah, and I just guessed five, but I'm
Yeah.
obviously off by a factor of 10. Um,
Yes.
so how do you ensure this consistency, right? Because you can't be traveling around every single day to all these properties to make sure that everybody's doing the right thing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. To answer this, the only thing that is required are processes, and we have built the processes from day one. It starts from the time that we acquire a property. When we identify a property and think of acquiring it, we do a lot of due diligence from the point of view of infrastructure, compliances, licenses, the services, amenities, and we try to standardize a lot of our product at that stage. After that, once we have acquired it, when we go for transformation, which is redesigning of the property, it happens as per the standard guidelines of the brand, which is if there has to be a 10-inch mattress at each of the places, it has to be. There is no exception. So a lot of it gets standardized at that point. Then once we operate it, our entire human capital undergoes a 1 month training program, whether they are a 5 year experienced, 10 year experienced, or a fresher. So
Yeah.
we try and give that training to them, so that they speak the same language, whether they are in Himachal or in Goa or anywhere for that matter. Uh, our entire customer acquisition funnel happens through our app or through our website. So there also a lot of standardization is there. So basically what I'm trying to say is there are three P's that we follow: people, process, and property. uh, if we standardize the property, if we standardize the way that our people behave and act, and we standardize the processes, I think a lot of it is taken care of. And then there are certain mandates where we don't do franchisees, we don't do I would say properties where we don't have F&B. So F&B is standardized for us. So if you go to Goa or anywhere else, Delhi or Bangalore, you'll find the same menu with a local touch, with a 10% local touch in the menu. So you'll feel very confident in opting for a hosteler. You won't have to think twice that whether the offering would be standardized or not.
Are you doing any innovations on the digital side as well, right? Like one of the things I think about a lot is that, like, I'd love to be a member, if you know what I mean. So that when I show up in, again, Goa, or if I show up in Bangalore, like I'm already in some kind of system. You know who I am. I don't have to re-explain myself. And maybe if just keep traveling around the country, I get some kind of discount. Like, are there any digital innovations that you've worked on or are working on that you can share with us?
So Michael, if not boasting too much, but I think we are India's most advanced tech hospitality company. We
Tell me, because
have
this is
done
really interesting for me. Go ahead and boast as much
we
as you
have
want.
done so much in tech. We have a membership program. We have around 2,500 members today. We just launched it 1 year back. We have rewards and credits where every booking you earn some rewards that you can use in your future stays or in the F&B offering. We have like how hotels ran for so long, which is through an intercom. Once you enter into the room, if you need to order for, let's say, a toilet kit or for room cleaning, you will just pick up the phone and call the reception, and they will send someone. We have eliminated all of those things, and in fact we are moving towards a humanless check-in sort of model, where everything is available on your phone. If you have to order for room cleaning, you just place the request through your phone and the guy will be at your doorstep. If you want a pizza in your room, it will come to your room. In fact, we have gone to the extent where you can control the air conditioning, the lightings, the water heating, everything through your phone. You don't even have to move away from your bed. You can do it from your bed, or even not from the hostel. Let's say you just landed at Goa airport, and you know that you'll reach the hotel in half an hour. You can switch on the air conditioning from the airport through your phone, and by the time that you reach the room will be cool for you. So all of those innovations we have done. So this is on the customer side of the things. Uh, we have done a lot of things internally for our operations team also to
Yeah.
make them very seamless. To give you an example, we have automated the entire financial part or work of our ground operations, where we don't have any physical day books, we don't have any offline requests mechanism. Everything is digitized. Anyone, let's say my Goa hostel needs 50 pair of fresh linen, they will place a request through our tech, and it will be received through to our head office, and that will be supplied very seamlessly. Nobody has to call anyone, no emails, no nothing. So this is what we have done. We have also done a lot of tech interventions on the demand side, where our pricings are dynamic, automated, and based on the supply demand in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
uh, our offerings with respect to other things. For example, when we open a hostel, it's just not the stay that we sell. We create 20-25 more products from in and around that hostel. For example, Goa, we will have a product which is water sport activity or a waterfall tour, and everything is digitized. It is on the app, where people can just come, book, and avail those services. So it's as easy as clicking a few buttons.
So what does it mean for, I'm just thinking about all this technology infrastructure you have to build. I mean, obviously a lot of it's in software, but what does it mean when you're renovating the place? Does that mean you're pulling Ethernet cables to every room? Like, what does that mean from the renovation standpoint? Or is that not so hard in and of itself?
No, so it's not really too hard, but we do a complete renovation of our Wi-Fi systems, our security systems. We also do a lot of the things in terms of smart automations in our electrical things. For example, we have external lights which are sensor based. So at 6 a.m. in the morning, the lights will automatically switch off, and at 6 p.m. in the evening, it will automatically turn on. So there is no manual intervention. People can, I mean, so the idea is that we want to make the life of everyone who are working with us so easy, and we want them to work less and less and less every day and not more. So that's what we are our vision is.
I love the way you've built technology, not just for the guests that stay there, but for the staff and for this infrastructure of the business itself. Right. Because a lot
Absolutely.
of companies miss this even when they start from scratch. They make the lives of the guests like really easy and seamless, but they make the lives of the people that work there a nightmare, right? Because they don't build any tech for them. I just
Yes.
love the fact that you've done both of these things. It almost sounds to me like the Hostler isn't just like a someplace to stay brand. It almost feels like it's a lifestyle brand in a
It
way.
is.
So do you see yourself expanding outside of the, I mean, there's plenty of room to expand. You only have 65 locations in a country that has 1.4 billion people in it. And
Yeah.
it's vast. We've already covered that, just geographically huge,
Yeah.
right? And so many interesting places where you could put a hostel where no one could stay before because it didn't make sense to have like a full hotel there, but it would make definite sense to have a hostel there. So you could actually change what's happening in some of these smaller communities where people want to go but don't have a place to stay. That in and of itself is awesome. But do you feel like at some point that you can expand the brand if people trust you into other things, if that makes sense, that are kind of related to travel but not necessarily?
So I think for the next 3 to 5 years, we are very laser focused on only doing hostels. we have seen the rise and fall of many other brands who try to diversify without stabilizing the one product that they used to do and they were good at.
Fair enough.
And that is what our vision is. I think next 3 to 5 years, definitely India as a country has scope for uh, 500 to 1,000 hostels, and we want to take a major pie of that particular sector in India. Michael, if you would have read, every year there are at least 20 to 50 new destinations which are coming up where people are moving, shifting trends. Let's say Manali, which used to be a hot spot for trekking, adventure, and a lot of things. Uh, Now there are at least 10 new villages and offbeat places which are near Manali. People are moving there. So what we are trying to do is take a pie out of the existing hospitality industry in India, as well as expand that pie. We are just not taking a bite out of the existing pie, we are expanding the pie, and that is what can be a game changer for us.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the greatest things, isn't it, about living in developing Asia, whether it's in Thailand, in the Philippines, in Vietnam, in India, no matter where we are out here, like in this place where most of the people in the world are actually living these days, is that you're not taking the pie from somebody else. You're just looking at the pie and going, how can I make this pie bigger? And then how
Yes,
much of that pie can I take? It's really one of the things that's most exciting to me about living in Asia, and India is no different, I think. Um,
absolutely.
and the more I think about it, the more I'm sitting here thinking, like, shouldn't somebody do this in Thailand, where there are, again, a lot of like hot places, but the only places to stay there are these big kind of bland hotels. No matter how fancy they are, it's still the same thing: a bed in a room with, you know what I mean, with some flat screen TV and no social activity. Is there a way to expand? And like you said, next 3 to 5 years, laser focused, expanding in India. You're right. There could be thousands of
Yeah.
hostels there, right? And that in and of itself is logistically really hard to do. But do you ever see expanding outside?
Yes, we do. Maybe next year, we are planning to expand to the two neighboring country, which are Nepal and Sri Lanka. To begin with,
Yeah,
we see a lot of Indian travelers going to Nepal and Sri Lanka for reasons known to them. And I think Nepal and Sri Lanka offers that kind of environment for hostels to thrive. They are budget destinations, and then eventually, yes, Southeast Asia is a hot spot for backpacking. Uh,
sure.
Me, I myself have traveled to Thailand 3 times, and I love the vibe. I love the country, and I think hostels can be perfect fit for countries like Thailand. So in the years to come, we would definitely seek for an international expansion as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I walk to the gym almost every day and at different times of the day.
Yeah.
And it's a good walk. It's like almost 5 kilometers. And there's not a day goes by where I don't see, I don't know, 10, 20 people walking around town with backpacks on. And that's early in the morning, right? So it has to be more in the afternoon. I think this would be an unbelievable place to do it. Um,
Yes.
and I like the fact that you've given your company a name that already sounds like a global brand, if you know what I mean. Like, it's
Yes.
appropriate everywhere. You could open one in California and nobody would think it was anything except a California brand as well. I think
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. It
Okay.
is.
Pranav, I'm going to let you go. This is super interesting stuff. Pranav Dangi, founder and CEO at The Hostler. Really, really interesting information today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your time.